Hello, my friend. I'm glad you're here, right where you are. I can feel the stillness of the room around you, yet I know that inside things might feel a little loud. Maybe your mind is still retracing the steps of the day, replaying a conversation. Or perhaps it's already racing toward tomorrow's to-do list. It's that heavy humming restlessness, the feeling that something is still unfinished, or that you haven't quite done enough. But I want to tell you something important tonight. There is nothing left to fix. You don't need to solve your life at 2:00 a.m. You don't need to be better or more to deserve this rest. Your life, with all its messy, unshaped pieces, is exactly where it needs to be for now. In the next few minutes, we're just going to sit with those pieces, not to judge them, but to see them as they truly are: simple raw material, soft clay in the hands of a weary artist. For now, you don't even have to understand. You just have to be. If it feels right, let your eyes drift closed. Let the weight of your head sink an inch deeper into the pillow. There is no more work to do. Just listen to the sound of my voice and the quiet rhythm of your own breathing. You are safe. You are allowed to let go. As you let the quiet rhythm of your breath settle into the room, you might notice how your body finally begins to give its weight over to the bed. It's a slow surrender, a gradual softening where the boundaries between you and the mattress start to blur. For so many hours, you've been carrying the day like a heavy pack on your back. You've been the one who decides, the one who acts, the one who holds everything together. But right now, in this warm, dim light, that pack is being unbuckled. You can feel your shoulders dropping an inch further away from your ears with every exhale. The tension in your jaw, that tightness you didn't even know you were holding, begins to dissolve like sugar in tea. Your breath is becoming a long, slow tide, pulling the day's residue out into the vast, dark ocean of the night. Think of the thoughts still flickering in your mind, not as problems to solve, but as distant stars, visible but far beyond your reach. The frantic energy of the afternoon is thinning out. The city sounds outside the window, the faint hum of a refrigerator, the rustle of the sheets. They are all part of this unfolding moment. You are not doing anything anymore. You are simply being done by the night. Your thoughts are growing sparser, like the last few leaves on an autumn branch, drifting down to the ground without a sound. Each breath is a reminder that you are allowed to be heavy. You are allowed to be still. The bed is holding you completely, a steady anchor in the dark. And all you have to do is let your breath grow longer, deeper, and softer. There is a profound inner peace that comes when we stop trying to navigate and simply let the current take us. You might feel a gentle warmth spreading from your chest down to your fingertips, a signal to your nervous system that the vigil is over. The you that had to perform, the you that had to be right, the you that felt the pressure of the world, that version of you is stepping back. What remains is just this: the cool air on your skin, the soft weight of the blankets, and the deepening silence of the room. Your thoughts no longer have hooks. They are just passing reflections on a still lake. As the breath lengthens, the world shrinks down to the small, sacred space of this bed where you are safe to drift, safe to fade, and safe to simply let the day go. This weight you feel isn't a burden anymore. It's the weight of presence. It's the feeling of your muscles finally resigning from their long shift. The overthinking that felt like a tangled knot just a few minutes ago is beginning to fray at the edges, the threads coming loose and falling away. You are moving deeper into the sanctuary of the now, where the past is a shadow and the future hasn't been born yet. In this warm light of your own awareness, everything is softening. The edges of your mind are rounding off. The breath is a slow, steady pulse, a golden thread connecting you to the earth. You are sinking gently and surely into the quiet center of your own being, where the only thing left to do is breathe and be held. As you sink deeper into that quiet center, resting in the absolute safety of being held, you might notice a lingering whisper in the back of your mind, a ghost of the day that insists things should have gone differently. We spend so much of our waking lives chasing the ghost of a perfect plan, believing that if we just work hard enough, think long enough, or pray fervently enough, the universe will align into the exact shape we've designed. We crave that cosmic insurance, the comforting promise that every detour was a hidden blessing, or that some invisible hand is arranging our lives into a flawless mosaic. But as you lie here in the warm light of your own breathing, you can feel that rigid grip beginning to slip. The bed doesn't care about your 5-year plan. The sheets don't ask if you've achieved your goals for the quarter. They simply accept the weight of who you are right now. The breath grows longer as you realize that there is no cosmic curriculum you are failing to learn. We often tell ourselves that everything happens for a reason, hoping to find order in the randomness. But that belief can sometimes become a heavy cage. It makes us passive, waiting for a meaning to be delivered to us, rather than realizing we are the ones who breathe life into our own experiences. Your pulse slows as the myth of the meant-to-be dissolves. You aren't a character in a script written by someone else. You aren't waiting for a door to open. because the universe decided it was time. You are simply here, in this bed, in this breath, and that is more than enough. The thoughts that once felt like urgent commands are now thinning out, becoming as faint as the sound of distant rain. In this space, the idea of karma isn't a scorecard or a divine judgment, but simply the natural law of planting and growing. It's as neutral as the earth under a farmer's feet. If we plant kindness, it grows. If we plant thorns, they grow. But the earth doesn't judge the seeds. It doesn't have a secret plan for the harvest. Knowing this allows your muscles to truly soften because you no longer have to decode the why behind every struggle. The diagnosis, the job loss, the sudden silence of a friend. These aren't messages from a hidden intelligence trying to teach you a lesson. They are simply conditions like the weather. And you are free to meet them with the simple, honest presence of your breath. As the warm light of relaxation spreads through your limbs, the need to be perfect falls away. We are often told that suffering purifies us automatically, like a fire refining gold. But the truth is much gentler. Pain by itself doesn't make us wise. It's the way we hold it, the way we breathe through it, that creates our peace. You might feel a sense of profound relief in your chest as you stop waiting for the universe to reveal its plan. There is no perfect arrangement of stars that will make your life correct. There is only this moment and the audacity to work with the clay you've been given. The bed becomes an island of stillness where the should-haves and could-haves can no longer reach you. Every exhale is a letting go of the myth that you are being tested by some invisible force. You are not a student in a cosmic classroom. You are an artist in a quiet studio. And the day you just finished was simply raw material. Some of the clay was smooth, some was grit, and some was wet with tears. But none of it was a punishment. Your breath is the only truth now, steady, rhythmic, and kind. As the thoughts grow fewer and the silence of the room grows deeper, you realize that the most beautiful thing about not having a predetermined plan is that you are truly free. You are free to rest, free to fade, and free to trust that your own heart is a sufficient guide for the night. In that quiet freedom of the night, as you drift away from the need for a cosmic script, you begin to see that everything that has touched your life is simply raw material. The bed beneath you is a place of total acceptance where the warm light of your awareness reveals a profound truth. Your life is not a puzzle to be solved, but clay to be shaped. We often move through the world looking for a calling or a destiny, as if it's an object hidden in a field waiting for us to stumble upon it. But here, in the deepening silence, you can feel the release of that search. Your career, your relationships, even the moments that felt like failures today, they didn't arrive with a predetermined purpose built inside them. They are neutral. They are the clay in your hands, waiting for you to decide what they will become. The breath slows down even more as you realize you don't have to find your meaning. You create it. Imagine a sculptor standing before a heavy, shapeless mound. The clay doesn't tell the artist what it wants to be. It doesn't have a soul or a plan of its own. It is just potential. As your muscles soften and your limbs grow heavy against the sheets, think of your own experiences in this way. That difficult conversation you had earlier, or that sudden change in your plans, it's just clay. It doesn't mean you are unlucky, and it doesn't mean you are being punished. It is simply the material you have to work with right now. The overthinking that usually keeps us awake is often just us trying to force the clay into a shape it isn't ready for, or crying because the clay isn't smooth marble. But in the gentle rhythm of your breath, you can let that struggle go. The warm light in the room seems to grow softer as the thoughts in your mind become thin and translucent. You are the artist, and the reality of your life is your medium. Some days, the clay is cold and stubborn. Some days, it's soft and pliable. But it's always workable. When you stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and start asking, "What can I create from this?" the weight of the world begins to lift. You might notice your heart rate slowing as you resign from the role of a victim and embrace the role of a creator. Even a health crisis or a financial setback is just more clay different in texture, perhaps harder to handle, but still raw material from which you can sculpt wisdom or compassion. Your breath is a long, steady tide now, pulling you further away from the shore of should be and into the deep water of what is. The bed is a sanctuary where you can finally stop fighting the texture of your life. You don't need a sign from the universe to tell you that you are doing it right. There is no right way for the clay to look. There is only the engagement, the simple, honest act of showing up and working with what you've been given. The thoughts of tomorrow's challenges start to fade, losing their sharp edges, because you know that whatever clay arrives at your door, you have the hands to shape it. You are not waiting for meaning to be delivered like a package. You are breathing it into existence with every skillful response. As the silence of the night wraps around you, you can feel a deep sense of internal resourcefulness rising up to meet the darkness. You aren't dependent on the stars or the opinions of others to feel whole. You have the clay, you have the breath, and you have this moment. That is the only equipment an artist of life truly needs. The overactive mind, the one that wants to plan and fix and worry, finally finds nowhere to land. It grows quiet, watching the steady rise and fall of your chest. Everything is clay. And tonight, the most skillful thing you can do with your material is to let it rest. You can feel yourself drifting, your awareness softening like clay in warm water as you move toward a sleep that is deep, restorative, and entirely earned. As you drift toward that restorative sleep, your awareness softening like clay in warm water, you might notice your hands resting quietly on the sheets. These hands, which have spent the whole day shaping your world, are finally invited to be still. In this warm light, let the muscles in your palms and fingers completely uncurl, surrendering their grip on the tools and tasks of the day. The work of the sculptor is over for tonight, and the clay of your life is safe in the stillness. There is a gentle, heavy warmth radiating from your wrists up through your arms, a signal to your heart that it no longer needs to beat for doing, but only for being. Your breath is a slow, steady pulse flowing like a calm river through the landscape of your body, washing away any lingering tightness in your chest. The bed holds you with an unwavering kindness, and as your heart softens, the thoughts of not being enough begin to fade like mist in the morning sun. We often hold our hearts so tightly guarded against the grit and the stones in the clay. But here, in the deepening silence, you are allowed to be vulnerable. Your heart is becoming as pliable and spacious as the clay itself, capable of holding the warmth of the day's joys and the coolness of its sorrows without being broken by either. The overactive mind, seeing the body so beautifully at rest, finds no more reasons to shout. Its whispers become as thin and harmless as a light spring rain against the glass. Every long, deep exhale is a prayer of release, a letting go of the need to protect yourself from the very experiences that make you human. In this sacred space of the night, your heart doesn't have to be a fortress. It can be a soft, open field. You might feel a tingling sense of peace in your toes moving up through your legs, as if the earth itself is breathing with you, grounding you in this moment of pure presence. There is no one to impress here, no one to answer to, and no perfect version of yourself you need to maintain. You are simply the artist at rest, and your heart is beating with the quiet audacity of someone who knows they are exactly where they need to be. The bed is a warm anchor, and the rhythm of your breath is the only clock that matters, marking the steady, peaceful passage of time. As the silence grows heavier and the room fades into a soft, dark blur, you can feel the last of the day's tension evaporating from your skin. Your heart is a steady glowing coal in the center of your chest, providing a quiet warmth that numbs the sharp edges of any remaining worry. You are sinking deeper into the layers of the night, where the clay of your life is being tended by the simple, natural law of rest. Your thoughts are now just flickering lights on a far-off horizon, beautiful but distant, leaving you here in the absolute comfort of the now. Your hands are soft, your heart is wide, and your breath is a bridge leading you into the vast, welcoming territory of dreams. You are whole, you are held, and you are ready to let the night take you into its deep, silent embrace. As you rest in that deep, silent embrace, feeling your breath become a bridge to the unknown, a new kind of strength begins to settle over you. It isn't the strength of doing or fighting, but the quiet audacity to simply stay. We spend so much of our lives running toward a future that we hope will be kinder, or retreating from a past that felt too sharp. We wait for the right moment or the perfect conditions before we allow ourselves to feel successful or at peace. But here, in the warm light of this room, you are discovering the power of the present material. Your body is heavy anchored to the bed, and in this stillness, you are realizing that you don't need to go anywhere else to find what is sacred. The breath stretches out long and effortless as you release the American myth that we must always be moving up or moving on to find meaning. True courage is the willingness to stand before the clay you have right now, even if it's grit-filled, even if it's cold, even if it's not the clay you asked for, and say, I can work with this. As your jaw relaxes and the back of your neck melts into the pillow, you feel the liberation that comes from ending the escape. You aren't waiting for the stars to align or for a promotion to validate your existence. You are here, staying with the breath, staying with the life that is actually happening, and that presence is the highest form of spiritual practice. The thoughts that used to scream for your attention are now just distant murmurs like the hum of traffic a few blocks away. In this state of staying, you see that the meaning of your life isn't a destination you reach after a long journey. It's the quality of how you touch the clay in front of you on a Tuesday afternoon or a restless Sunday night. You might feel a profound sense of relief washing over your legs and feet, a softening of the very muscles that usually carry you away from discomfort. There is a deep, quiet joy and realizing that you are no longer a fugitive from your own experience. You have the hands, you have the breath, and most importantly, you have the heart that is brave enough to remain. In the warm light that blankets your mind, the frantic need to fix every broken thing starts to dissolve. You are learning that you can be in the grit without being of the grit. Just like a potter whose hands are covered in mud, but whose eyes are focused on the emerging form, you are beginning to see your challenges as workability rather than obstacles. The bed is your sanctuary of staying, a place where the urge to change the past or control the future has no power. Your breath is a steady, rhythmic anchor, reminding you that you are whole, even when things are unfinished. You are sinking deeper into the bed, deeper into the night, carrying with you the quiet confidence of an artist who knows that as long as they stay with the material, something beautiful is always possible. Every inhale is an invitation to be here. Every exhale is a permission to let the rest go. The silence in the room is not empty. It is full of your own presence, your own audacity to be exactly who you are right now, without apology. The world outside may demand 1,000 things from you tomorrow, but tonight, the only thing required of you is to stay in this peace. Your mind is growing vast and dark, like a clear night sky over the plains, where thoughts are just tiny points of light that don't disturb the immense stillness. You are safe. You are brave. And as you drift further into the softness of the bed, you are finally fully home. As you drift fully home, anchored by that quiet audacity to stay, you might feel the lingering edges of your own rigidity beginning to soften. We often carry ourselves through the day like a statue carved from stone, fixed, unyielding, and brittle. We hold on so tightly to who we think we should be or how others should treat us that we become like dry clay that has sat too long in the sun. But here, in the warm light of your own presence, you can feel the moisture of compassion returning to the work. Your breath is a slow, rhythmic rain falling gently on the parched earth of your mind, turning what was stiff and defensive into something pliable and alive. You can feel your chest broadening, the armor around your heart dissolving as you realize that you don't have to be a finished monument tonight. You are allowed to be unfinished clay, resting in the hands of a patient life. The bed is a place where your labels and categories lose their grip. You aren't a success or a failure here. You aren't right or wrong. Those rigid stories we tell ourselves, the ones that say people can't be trusted, or that the world is fundamentally unfair, are just hard crusts on the surface of your potential. In this deepening silence, you are invited to let those stories melt away. Your muscles are heavy, resigning from the tension of being certain as your breath grows longer and more spacious. Each exhale is a softening of the internal rules that keep you small. You might notice the tension in your face, the little lines around your eyes, and the tightness in your brow, simply smoothing out as you give up the need to be the one who knows all the answers. Imagine the difficulties of your week not as solid boulders blocking your path, but as blocks of clay that have simply grown a bit too firm. They aren't obstacles. They are just material waiting for the warmth of your attention to make them workable again. As you lie here, your very presence is like a warm sun, gently heating the clay of your experiences until the brittleness turns into grace. You can feel your thoughts becoming less like sharp shards and more like fluid ripples on a pond. The you that feels the need to fight reality is finally falling asleep, leaving behind a deeper self that knows how to flow with whatever conditions appear. The warm light in the room seems to hum with this softening, a quiet symphony of letting go that echoes the steady rise and fall of your chest. There is a profound beauty in this pliability, the courage to be unformed for a while. You might feel a gentle tingling in your palms, a sense of openness that comes when you stop balling your fists against the world. The overthinking mind is like a potter trying to shape clay that is far too dry, creating only friction and dust. But as you breathe, you are adding the water of acceptance back into your life. The grit of disappointment and the stones of betrayal are still there, but they no longer make the whole mass break. They are just part of the texture now integrated into a larger, softer whole. You are sinking into the bed, feeling your entire being become as receptive as the earth after a long summer rain, ready to be shaped not by force, but by the natural unfolding of the night. Every long, slow breath is a reminder that you don't have to hold it all together. The universe isn't asking you to be a pillar of salt. It is inviting you to be a river. The rigidity that felt like protection today was actually just a burden, and tonight you are free to lay it down. Your mind is growing vast and quiet, a warm, dark space where the shoulds and musts simply evaporate. You are the artist who has learned that the most beautiful forms come from the softest touch. As the silence of the room deepens and the world outside fades into a distant memory, you are melting into the absolute peace of being exactly as you are, unfinished, workable, and deeply, truly at rest. As you melt into that absolute peace, being exactly as you are unfinished and workable, You might feel a heavy shadow lifting from the corners of your mind. It is the shadow of a debt you never actually owed. For so long, we are told that our struggles are a price we must pay, or that the hard clay in our hands is a punishment for some past mistake we cannot even remember. We lie awake, wondering if we did something wrong to deserve the thorns in our field. But here, in the warm light of your own breathing, that burden of cosmic guilt is finally allowed to dissolve. You are not a debtor to the universe, and you are not being punished by the stars. Karma is not a blame system. It is just the natural rhythm of cause and effect, as neutral as the rain falling on the roof or the wind moving through the trees. The bed is a place where you can finally stop apologizing for your own existence. As your muscles soften and your breath grows longer, you can feel the release of the why me that keeps the heart so tight. In this deepening silence, you realize that the difficult diagnosis, the sudden loss, or the quiet betrayal wasn't a lesson designed by an invisible judge to test your spirit. These things happen because causes and conditions come together in their own complex ways, most of which have nothing to do with you personally. Your breath is a long, slow exhale of relief, letting go of the need to find a hidden purpose in your pain. You don't have to stay in a harmful situation because you think you need the lesson, and you don't have to endure suffering as a way of paying off a mysterious spiritual debt. Think of the farmer in the spring, standing in a field that is sometimes rocky and sometimes smooth. The rocks aren't there because the earth is angry at the farmer. They are just part of the landscape. As you lie here, your life is that field, and you are free to work with whatever you find without the weight of shame. The overthinking mind, which loves to keep a ledger of our flaws, finally finds its pages turning blank. There is a profound sense of kindness spreading through your chest as you stop blaming yourself for the weather of your life. Your breath is a steady, rhythmic pulse, a golden thread that connects you to the simple truth that you are already worthy of this rest, exactly as you are. In the warm light of this sanctuary, the concept of deserving simply fades away. You don't have to earn your way to a better life by suffering correctly, and you don't have to wait for the universe to grant you a reprieve. You are free from the passive waiting that comes when we think our fate is in invisible hands. You are the artist, and the clay in your hands is yours to shape, not because of a plan, but because you have the agency to choose your own response. You can feel the tension in your hips and lower back, the places where we carry our oldest fears simply melting into the mattress. The bed is a warm anchor, and you are sinking deeper into the night, no longer a prisoner, of a cosmic scorecard, but a free soul at rest. Every long, slow breath is a permission to be forgiven for things you never did. The silence of the room is a vast open space where the noise of not enough cannot survive. You are sinking into the absolute comfort of knowing that the night is neutral, the darkness is kind, and there is no debt left to pay. Your mind is growing vast and quiet, a warm, dark sky where the thoughts of past and future are just fading echoes. You are safe, you are innocent, and as the world outside disappears into the deep silent shadows, you are finally fully at peace with your own heart. In that absolute peace with your own heart, where no debt remains to be paid, the studio of your life finally grows quiet. The artist within you, the one who has been laboring all day with the clay of expectations, deadlines, and the constant hum of American ambition, is now being given the ultimate gift, the permission to stop. Your hands, once covered in the grit of the day's work, are now clean and resting on the cool sheets, as soft as the silence that fills the room. In this warm light, you can feel the creative urgency, the need to shape, to fix, to make sense of everything simply evaporating from your skin. The clay will still be there tomorrow, damp and ready, but for now, the potter's wheel has come to a gentle, silent halt. The bed has become a sanctuary where the you who performs is no longer required. Your breath is slowing to a deep, cavernous rhythm, pulling you further away from the conscious effort of the day and into a state of pure, effortless being. You might notice the muscles in your forehead and eyes finally surrendering their vigilance, smoothing out as the inner eyes turn away from the outside world. There is a profound mercy in knowing that your worth is not tied to how much you sculpted 2D. Whether the form you created was beautiful or lopsided, finished, or barely begun, it doesn't matter. Tonight, you are just a breath, a heartbeat, a presence resting in the vast, kind dark. The thoughts that used to flicker with the intensity of neon signs are now becoming dim and distant, like fireflies fading at the edge of a deep forest. The overthinking mind, seeing that the artist has laid down their tools, finally finds its own rest. It no longer needs to analyze the texture of the clay or plan the firing of the kiln. The warm light of the night is enough. You can feel your body sinking deeper into the mattress, as if the bed itself is an extension of the earth, steady and unshakable. The silence is a blanket that covers the unfinished business of the afternoon, the half-read emails, the unspoken apologies, and the lingering worries about the mortgage or the kid's future. All of it is held in the stillness, safe and stationary, while you drift into the lightness of non-doing. In this space, you are not a worker, a parent, a partner, or a problem solver. You are the stillness behind the movement. Your heart is a steady, glowing coal that provides warmth without needing to be tended. You might feel a gentle heaviness in your chest, a sense of being anchored by your own peace as your breath becomes a long, slow tide washing over the sands of your consciousness. There is no one to impress, no one to catch up to, and no standard to meet. The night doesn't demand results. It only offers a return to the source. You are moving into that soft, dark territory where the artist and the clay become one, where there is no separation between you and the peace you've been seeking. Every long, slow exhale is a sign of trust, a trust that the world will keep turning without your supervision. The room is a vessel of quietude, and you are the liquid within it, taking the shape of rest. The thoughts of tomorrow's material are now just faint whispers, powerless to pull you back to the surface. You are sinking, drifting, and fading into the absolute comfort of the now, where the only work left is the simple, sacred act of breathing. You are an artist at rest, and in this rest, your soul is being remade. The silence is total. The bed is a soft embrace, and you are finally ready to close the studio door and let the darkness carry you into the deep restorative currents of sleep. As you let the darkness carry you into those deep restorative currents, you might feel a door within your mind gently swinging open to a vast and hallowed stillness. This is the place beyond the doing, beyond the shaping, and even beyond the artist. For so many hours, the world has felt like a series of closed rooms, offices, kitchens, cars, and the tight, frantic spaces of our own overthinking. But here, in the warm light of the night, every boundary is beginning to dissolve. You are stepping out into an open field of pure awareness, where the air is cool and the silence is as deep as a canyon. Your body is so heavy now, so completely surrendered to the bed, that you can no longer tell where you end, and the rest of the universe begins. Your breath is no longer something you do. It is a slow, rhythmic tide that moves through you as natural as the wind through the tall grass of the plains. This open door leads to a freedom that doesn't require anything to change. We often spend our days waiting for the right door to open, hoping that on the other side we will finally find the peace we've been promised. But as your heart slows and your muscles turn to liquid, you realize that the peace was always here, waiting in the gaps between your thoughts. The thoughts themselves are so sparse now drifting through the vastness of your mind like lone birds across a twilight sky, leaving no tracks, no weight, and no noise. The warm light of your being is enough to illuminate this space. You aren't searching for meaning anymore. You are simply resting in the truth that you are part of the vast, unfolding mystery of causes and conditions. The bed is a steady anchor as you float in this emptiness, and it is a kind emptiness full of potential but requiring no effort. The city sounds the hum of the heater, the faint rustle of the blanket. They are just echoes in the distance, unable to touch the core of your stillness. You might feel a profound sense of space in your chest, a widening of the heart that comes when you stop trying to protect it. In this openness, the you that carries the burdens of the American dream, the mortgage, the reputation, the need to be somebody, simply fades away. What remains is just this wide open door, an invitation to return to the source where all clay is born and all forms eventually return. As the silence of the room grows even more profound, you feel your consciousness softening and expanding like rain hitting the surface of a deep, dark lake. There is no more inside or outside. Your breath is the breath of the night itself. The overthinking mind, which once stood guard at the door, has finally laid down its head and fallen into a dreamless rest. You are sinking through the layers of the night, deeper and deeper into the absolute comfort of being nothing and everything at once. Every long, slow exhale is a step further into that vast, welcoming field of peace. The warm light is fading into a soft, velvety darkness, and you are finally fully ready to walk through that open door and let the stillness take you home. As the velvety darkness takes you home, pulling you deeper into that field of peace, you arrive at the very edge of the sleep gate. Your body is no longer a separate thing. It has become the bed, the warm light, and the silence itself. The heavy clay of the day's identity has completely dissolved, leaving only the soft, rhythmic hum of a life at rest. Your breath has slowed to a faint, effortless sigh, a long and gentle tide that barely disturbs the stillness of the room. There is no more thinking, no more tearing, no more trying to find a reason for the stars. The overthinking mind has finally stepped through the gate, leaving its tools behind, and you are drifting into the vast, wordless territory of deep, restorative slumber. The bed is a warm anchor in a sea of shadows, holding you so securely that you can finally let the very last thread of awareness slip away. You are sinking into a place where causes and conditions no longer have names, where the you of the day simply fades into the kindness of the night. The thoughts that once felt so urgent are now just the sound of distant rain, a soft and rhythmic patter that lulls you deeper into the dark. Every exhale is a final permission to vanish, to be held by the silence, and to trust that the morning will bring fresh clay and new hands. You are passing through the gate now, moving into the absolute comfort of the now, where there is nothing left to do but sleep. In this sacred threshold, the light in your chest is a soft glowing coal, providing a quiet warmth for the journey ahead. Your breath is the only clock marking a time that has no numbers and no deadlines. The world outside, with all its noise and its demands, has completely evaporated, leaving you here in the sanctuary of your own being. You are sinking, drifting, and letting go of the very last need to be anyone at all. The gate is open, the path is soft, and the darkness is welcoming you into its deep, silent heart. You are safe to fall, safe to forget, and safe to simply be. As you fall, as you forget, and as you find safety in the deep, silent heart of the night, you are moving into a space that exists beyond the clay itself. The shapes you made today, the beautiful ones and the lopsided ones, no longer matter in this deepening darkness. All that remains is the simple, honest presence of a soul at rest. You have realized tonight that you are the artist of your own peace, and that meaning is not a prize to be won, but a quiet choice to be made in the way you touch your world. The warm light of your breath is the only truth, now a steady golden thread that keeps you anchored even as you drift into the vast ocean of sleep. May you rest in the absolute comfort of knowing that you are whole exactly as you are. May your heart remain soft and pliable, ready to meet tomorrow's raw material with the quiet audacity of wisdom and compassion. May the burdens of the past dissolve like mist, and may the worries of the future remain as distant stars that do not disturb your stillness. You have the hands to shape your life, the breath to sustain your peace, and the heart to find meaning in every grain of sand. The room is silent. The bed is a warm embrace. The clay is resting. And so are you. May you be happy. May you be peaceful. May you be safe. May you be at rest. Go now into the deep, into the dark, into the peace. You are allowed to sleep. Good night, my friend. Good night.